City.
Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day here. And guys, we've got a fun one for you here in today's video. Now that the campaign is nearing an end, you guys are going to see an absolute metric shit ton of Prussians on the enemy team. And well, this is probably my best game so far. Smashing our way well into 200k, and I basically threw 300k by a little silly move here at the end, but I don't want to spoil too much of this video, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
That's mostly a DD killer div.
Now, I do apologize for the brief hiatus there. Now, of course, we've mentioned this previously. The game has just gotten a touch boring for me. On top of that, I was studying for my state boards, which I have since passed. So your boy is officially official there. So we will be getting a few more videos here and there. I've been having a lot more fun just absolutely memeing and playing with friends. And that is what we do right here when this Schroeder decides to sail broadside. A quick 30k right off the bat here. However, we were not in great position there to shoot, but we were spotted. We saw the broadside shot, so we went ahead and took it. And here we're going to take a follow-up salvo because we do have our Arthas plane popped. Since they reduced the duration time of that, anytime you can get a salvo off, even if a few shells do touch the island there, it's always going to be more beneficial than simply not shooting. But within 2 salvos there, we are at a nice little 45,000 damage there. Now, of course, we did get caught broadside, and we were caught on fire there. And as all of you know who watch this channel, it is never a good idea to put out a single fire, because typically if the enemy player knows what they're doing, they will just follow up with a double and or even a triple fire if you are not running fight fire with fire there. But within a few quick moments, we're already at 50k here, less than 2 minutes into this game. So just a great example of how strong this ship can be. Now, I've seen plenty of these in the past few days, and this ship is not overpowered in any regard, guys. If you sail broadside and just mindlessly wander in this ship, you are basically a free 100,000 damage for the enemy, and we have been taking advantage of that. We actually have a pretty nice video in the conch where we were 500 points away from 300k, so it is becoming increasingly common to just basically damage farm in this game, which is pretty enjoyable for the viewer experience that you guys are witnessing here. But positioning is always going to be the #1 thing that gets you to these high damage games. Now, of course, we meme about paid actors and such, and we have a few of them in this game, but it's all about your positioning, right? Trying to put yourself in a position where you can get all of the crossfires without giving up too much angle and putting your ship in a non-favorable position. You couple the accuracy of this ship, the 100,000 HP that this ship can get, and the 457 millimeter guns, and you will find yourself having a fair amount of fun while racking up a good amount of damage in the meantime. And speaking of tactically smart here, you saw a switch to HE. Now, of course, this Kurfürst is a little bit less angled than I potentially thought he was, so the AP would have done just fine there as well. But I see so many Battleship players sometimes refuse to use the tools that they have. And while the HE is not the absolute best thing I've ever seen on a Battleship, it can get the job done. And as you can see here, with 2 kills and 95,000 damage, we are impacting this game in a tremendous way.
We should be doing okay. I'm guessing Brindisi's working his way towards mid.
It's always funny to me to see some of the alpha males on the Facebook page, just try and tell me, it's like, well, brother, you got to use the AP at all times. You can't be using the HE. That's for the sissies. And you just have to sit back and laugh at the just bravado sometimes that these people want to display. But something else I actually do want to note here is we are not going against the paid actors, as I mentioned earlier. There was a triple division of stall players who's an excellent group of just players there, as well as Mr. Quaxini, who was, I believe, on the comp team that won the Winter Cup, or yeah, I forget exactly, one of the recent tournaments put on by the Fleet Network there, which I haven't really been too great at covering, but he is an excellent player, so just something to note there. So this was no pushover game either. The good news for me, though, is I did have the absolute chattiest of Chad players there, Mr. Bravo, in a Gdansk, and he was holding off the flank, spotting for me, and basically just being an ultimate teammate. If there's ever a person that I want on my team, it's going to be Bravo. Now, I would never admit that publicly, so I'm going to ban him from watching this video and commenting. He's definitely not going to comment, but yeah. Talking about positioning here, we are working our way back towards the middle. Why? Well, we have a few ships sort of holding this outward position here, and I'm not exactly sure what is going to happen on the opposite flank. It seems to be somewhat of a little duel here. The Adriatico of the other division there is not going to push into Bravo without support from his teammates. And there you can see that our Aguirre is making a rather aggressive push, in which the Giuseppe Verde there is trying to counter by backing up here. But I have not been spotted in about 70, 90 seconds at this point, and we're going to go ahead and make a play. I have 3 heals left and 86,000 damage, and that is why it is so important to angle and position correctly, especially early game. While I am a battleship, and a battleship with a lot of health that I absolutely need to use, using it poorly early game just doesn't allow you to make pushes like this right here. And I'm not sure about you guys, but a Giuseppe Verde broadside at 7 kilometers, yeah, this is not going to go well. We take the shot here, we pop the plane, and good night, thanks for playing. There was about 70,000, 60,000 damage there in one salvo, as you can see our expression on stream. And that is the importance of positioning, situational awareness, and utilizing all of these strengths of your ship in just one fell swoop. And to make it even greater, we have ourselves a broadside Marlborough out there with the largest citadel, I think, of all battleships. And there with the front 2 turrets, we managed to pop ourselves another 2 and push ourselves well into the 200,000 damage range. And here, I think he was just angled enough to where that, and you could see that one floater there, but we do manage to connect ourselves another citadel and push ourselves well into the 230 range. So in short succession there, we went from, I think, 105,000 to 230,000 damage. And here is where Aaron gets a little greedy. Now, of course, the enemy has collapsed, and there's only about 100,000 damage left on the board with the combination of the Brindisi here as well as the Loria. However, I decide to make just a really boneheaded play. I wanted to get all of my guns on target for this salvo, but I'm doing so while turning into this channel, and I should have just sailed straight in, shot my front guns at Quack here and my back guns at the Brindisi if he was spotted. But you can actually see that Quack is turning here, and he is giving me somewhat of a broadside. He's trying to avoid those battleships over there. That, or he's just giving up, because as you can see, it is now a 6-on-3, and we have great map control. But I biff the salvo. I only get 3 of the 4 turrets off, and they all miss. On top of me only getting 3 of the 4 guns, pushing myself into this rock here and beaching myself, I missed the salvo. So just a colossal fuck up here by me. So I'm trying to turn a ship with a 1,000-meter turning circle as Quack is turning back in. And yeah, this is where I beach myself, and I genuinely get mad for like the next 2 minutes. And not only did I beach, I am now in one of the great coding enigmas of this game where your ship is directly bow on to an island, but I am for some reason unable to reverse. So I am essentially stuck here shooting my front 2 guns at this Loria, who is getting chunked from every side except for my own. I should have switched to the HE, but I did also want to get a salvo on the Brindisi if possible, but it's not really going to matter here. We do manage to tick our way up into the 250 category, but again, there was enough time and opportunity and damage left to push ourselves into 300 if I didn't just fuck up like this. We do manage to take a shot, but not before another ship manages to get the kill. So not only robbing a potential Kraken from us, there are still 2 ships left, but we're not going to get the Kraken here, but taking about 30 to 40k away from our damage potential. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I'll put it in 2 times speed here so we can go ahead and finish up this video. But a nice little game in the Prussian that shows you guys, better positioning, situational awareness, and just the absolute insane accuracy in guns that this thing can have in the right situations. So the build is, I think, exactly the same as my first look. I don't think I changed much. I'll have to double check on that, but I'll try and throw it up on screen if I manage to put it in at the end. If not, I'll see you guys possibly tonight on stream. I think maybe with Spartan and Alphonse. I talked to them this evening about a potential stream. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. I love you guys. You guys have a great day. I'm out. Peace.